Vishnu. Tadatmanam Shrijamyaham Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyutanama Dharmasya Taratmanam Shrijamyaham Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyutanama Dharmasya Tadatmanam Shrijamyaham Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyutanama Dharmasya Taratmanam Shrijamyaham Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyutanama Dharmasya Tadatmanam Shrijamyaham Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyutanama Dharmasya Taratmanam Shrijamyaham Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushkritam Dharma Sangstapanartaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushkritam Dharma Sangstapanartaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushkritam sangstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma sangstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma sangstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma sangstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari
Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari
Jai Gopi Jannavallabha Jai Girivardhari
Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Kunja Bihari.
Jai Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Vihari.
Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radharamana Hari. Govinda Jaya Jaya,
Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radharamana Hari. Govinda Jaya Jaya.
Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe.
Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe.
Jaya Sriman Narayana.
Jaya Sriman Narayana. Vinashaya Dushkritam. Jaya Sriman Narayana.
Jaya Sriman Narayana.
Jaya Bhagavan Sri Krishna.
Jaya Bhagavan Sri Krishna.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
Surya Vansha Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
Om Hari Om. Very good. Namaste, everyone. It is truly my pleasure to be here with you on this Sunday from our beautiful temple headquarters of the International Sanatana Dharma Society here in, of all places, the best of all places, Omaha, Nebraska. We love Omaha. And of course, this is our first live stream satsangha for this year, for 2026. And before I begin with everything that we're going to be doing today, first of all, let me welcome everyone to 2026. This is going to be a truly wonderful year. Before we even began, actually, we had our devotees gathered here in the temple, and I said some words to them about this year. And let me repeat a summation to everyone else who's joining us now online. 2026 is going to be the best year that we have seen in a very long time. And when I say we, I'm talking about in the United States of America. We are going to see the United States of America doing better than it ever has in its history, and that only a tiny taste of what is to come. America itself is going to be triumphant like it has not been in 250 years. And again, that's just a taste of what is to come. The rest of the world outside of America also will be healed, will be freed, will be liberated. Nation by nation by nation by nation, tyrants will fall. And there will be freedom, and there will be rejoicing among the people of our earth, the good people of our earth. This is what we will begin to see in 2026 and beyond. More, the spiritual spearhead of what is to come, this golden age, the International Sanatana Dharma Society, which is a phenomenon and a force that humans can scarcely comprehend, is going to be doing better both as far as growth this year than any other year of its existence, but more as far as depth. What we will be doing to help usher in this golden age will marvel those who witness. This is going to be a good year, and we are ready for it. We are ready for it. So I want to again sincerely thank everyone, every sincere member, every sincere follower, supporter, well-wisher of the International Sanatana Dharma Society. Both here in Omaha, Nebraska, in our temple. We have a wonderful full temple, full congregation today. And I want to thank all those who are watching today, who will watch the recording of this. I want to thank all of the followers, members, sincere individuals of the International Sanatana Dharma Society, the numbers of whom are greater than anyone knows other than myself, for all of your assistance, all of your help in helping to bring about what is going to be something truly wonderful upon this earth. God's grace manifest upon this earth in such a way that Dharma will be saved, will be restored, will be sustained in every way imaginable, and such that vinashaya dushkritam, those who are the opponents of Dharma, will have a lousy day, to use the colloquial. So thank you. Thank you for your support of the ISDS in every way. With that, we're going to dive straight into what we're going to be doing today, and that is we're going to be doing verse 6 of Mukunda Mala Stotra, written by Kulashekhara Maharaja a little bit over 4,000 years ago. Don't listen to Wikipedia. He lived over 4,000 years ago, and that's when he wrote this beautiful, beautiful hymn that we have been going through week after week. And at this point, pretty much one verse a day. Well, now we're going to go through verse 6. And as far as whether we will continue going through the rest of the Mukunda Mala Stotra or whether we will stop here, we'll see. What do we think?
Tune in next week.
Very good. We will surprise people next week as far as what we're going to do. But with that, let's dive into this beautiful devotional verse. And of course, for people who have been with us going through the Mukunda Mala Stotra, you'll see the theme. You'll see the theme that is here all throughout. Like with any good work of literature, this is true for the Vedic literature as well. Literatures, I should say, in the plural, because there are genre after genre of literatures. What we see is that each work, of course, has its own specific theme. You know, this is one of the things that makes the Vedic literature rich and profound, is the fact that it is a library of literatures. And what does that mean? That means that they're not all exactly the same. You see, by logical default, if they were all exactly the same with the same theme, why would you have so many different books? Just repeating. No, on the contrary. Like with any other good genre of literature, they each have their own specific themes, some more philosophical than others, even then, a specific aspect of philosophy. You know, some are more ritual-oriented. Oh, some, like the Puranas, are more story-oriented, not mythology. Mythology does not exist in the Puranas, Mahabharata, or Ramayana. Stories and history of the past. And not only this planet, but many other planets as well. So indeed, when you look at all the various genres, but then individual works of literature within those genres, they all have different themes. Well, what has been the theme of the Mukunda Mala Stotra thus far? It has been two things, really. It has been certainly bhakti, devotion, and not just devotion in a theoretical sense. You see, we went through the Narada Bhakti Sutras. In the future, we're also going to go through the Shandilya Bhakti Sutras. And those works focus more on theory of bhakti, philosophy of bhakti. With this, we're looking at bhakti in action. So the third, understanding that, the first theme is bhakti. What is the second theme? Surrender. And again, we're seeing surrender here in the form of the words and the mood of Maharaja Kulashekhara. And again, who was he? He was one of the 12 Alvars. And what is an Alvar? One who dives deeply in devotion toward God. He was one of these individuals. So thus, when he speaks about these themes, it's something where we need to be aware of what is happening as we are reading these works, so that the mood that is there, that we detect so clearly, this mood of absolute and utter surrender in devotion at the feet of Bhagavan, such that we also can participate in that. So all that being said, that's the theme, and this verse continues the theme. So I will first read this. O Lord, killer of the demon Naraka Asura, let me reside either in the realm of the demigods, in the world of human beings, or in hell, as you please. I pray only that at the point of death I may remember your 2 lotus feet, whose beauty defies that of the lotus growing in the Śarat season. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And again, it's a theme. So we have heard things somewhat like this in previous verses, but it gets more detailed. It becomes more beautiful. It is like a multifaceted gem. You know, if you have a diamond, it has all the different facets, and you can look at it from various facets. In the same way, this theme of bhakti, of surrender, we can look at in different ways. That's why on the one hand, he seems to be kind of repeating the same idea, but different facets of that idea. And that's what makes the Mukunda Mala Stotra truly wondrous as a work of literature and as a work of devotion. So all that being said, let's go through this. And indeed, we're not going to take a long time, because I would like to see if there are any questions from people. So let's begin. O Lord, I've stated this before, but this is not only the Kali Yuga, But thus far, it has been the very worst point that we have experienced thus far of the Kali Yuga, where people have short memories. And more, it's not just a matter of short memories. It's a matter of things that people in their illusion, they do not want to hear, they must hear repeatedly for it to penetrate. So, we begin with, O Lord. Why is this of importance? Because in our very, very, very confused age, our new age, riddled age, etc., where people have no standards whatsoever, it's important to understand that we must have divine standard. What does that mean? We have to understand, again, who is being addressed. Who is being addressed? If I look, and I'm not going to stare at anyone here, if I look at someone and I say, could you please get me a glass of water? I'm not talking to Joe Schmo who works at the gas station 2 blocks away. We have to understand who is being addressed. I just addressed that person, looking them directly in the eye and at no one else. I may even say their name. Oh, you, Jack, could you please get me a glass of water? Well, I'm not talking to, again, someone else. Here are the nice generic names. I'm not talking to Bob, who is working at the zoo feeding the gorillas right now, 10 miles away, etc. Who I am addressing is of importance. We cannot communicate, we cannot function as a society or even retain our sanity unless we understand such things, that this is the nature of communication. In the same way, this is of importance. He's not addressing just anyone, just anybody who you can choose. We need to know, in other words, spiritually speaking, who is it? No, not what is it. We're beyond that. Who is it that we wish to know? Who is it that we wish to attain? And again, here comes the radical universalist, very tiny little midget, radical universalist, neo-Hindu, saying, oh, pick anything you want. It doesn't matter. Pick any god, any goddess. Pick a rock, pick a tree, pick a bagel. Pick anything you want and worship that. Here's the little New Age American or European saying the same thing. That is not religion. More for the I'm not religious, I'm spiritual crowd. That's not spiritual either. That's what is called unintelligent, unwise, the opposite of wisdom. Rather, we must know to whom we are addressing. And if we are individuals who are sincere in our spiritual pursuit, who are we addressing? Someone, just a little bit more powerful than us? No. We should be addressing that which is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what Prabhupada very wisely termed the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We need to be addressing that which is the highest of all, beyond which there is nothing higher. We should be addressing that than which nothing greater can be conceived by any human mind, even by AI. We need to be addressing that which is the source and origin of all material and immaterial realities. We must be addressing that being who is the source of all auspicious attributes and an infinite number of auspicious attributes, each one of which is explored to the depth of infinity. This is who we are addressing if we're sincerely spiritual. Even if we're part of the little crowd, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. If you claim to be spiritual, then this is what you must be looking for. So thus, again, as he's done previously, Kulashekhara makes this clear. Hey Bhagavan, O Lord, he is addressing everything that I just mentioned and gave the definitions of that which is the supreme. Killer of Naraka Asura, of the demon Naraka. Now, very interesting. We don't have to go deeply into this because this is written about in, Krishna book. This is in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where we have the story of Lord Krishna. Naraka was an evil king. He was a demonic king. He was a tyrant who ended up, like all tyrants will, being killed, but by who? God himself, by Lord Krishna. This is who Naraka is. So, thus, he makes it especially clear. Who is he addressing? He is addressing Krishna very specifically, which is very nice. Oh Lord, and again, he gives qualifiers, because someone could even say, well, that's kind of vague. How do we know? We see Asura's advocate, over there. How do we know which Lord he's appealing to? Well, then he makes it clear. The killer of Naraka Asura, of the Naraka demon. So this makes it quite clear. That was Krishna. It wasn't anyone else. That was Krishna. So now we know who he is addressing, who he is speaking to in this prayer. Now we go on. Now he makes the plea. Let me reside. Oh, let's stop there. Now we're going to speak about ontological significance. Let me reside. In other words, what is he saying? May the locus of my being, in other words, my very self itself, beyond causality, beyond time, beyond space, that is, me, as who I am, as aham pratyaya, as the very cognizer and drashtur, experiencer himself. In other words, truly me. You see, it's one thing to say me, right, in the English language. Oh, who wants a cup of coffee? Me. But to truly understand the ontological significance of even that, now when we understand that, what he is actually saying by let me reside, now the full weight of what he says afterwards comes to the fore. Let me reside, i.e., let me be. And now he gives several options. In the realm of the demigods. In other words, you can allow me to be in heaven, in Svarga, in an area, a place that is beautiful. Really, when I say beyond human comprehension, that's another one of these terms that's overused by many, many people. We don't quite understand what's meant by that. The joys, the grandeur of the heavenly region, that is Svarga, is truly beyond our comprehension. Yeah, now I'm going to tell people. Now I'm going to be a missionary for the movie. A few days ago, we saw this beautiful movie, Mahavatara Narasingha, which is a relatively new movie, I believe, that's come out. The movie itself is in very chaste, very nice Hindi, but there are English translations. And it is the story done in perfect detail and to perfect authenticity of Narasingha. It is the story of Hiranyakashipu, Narasingha, and Prahlada Maharaja. And in this story, it shows the heavenly realms. It shows the realm of Indra and all the gods in Svarga. And it depicts it in an accurate way and a very beautiful way. If you want to have just a little bit of a glimpse, and even that again, to actually understand, is truly beyond the ability of any movie or any comprehension. But if you want to get a little taste of what is meant by what he is saying here, watch that movie when you have a chance, and it's available everywhere. I believe Netflix and a whole bunch of other places. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful movie that all throughout from beginning to end. If you don't have tears in your eyes watching this movie, you're not a Vaishnava. Beautiful movie. But this is the point. He says, let me reside, and he gives options, either in the realm of the demigods, so the Svarga, or in the world of human beings. So, or let me reside here where I am presently. So again, he wrote this 4,000 years ago when he was a king upon the Bhumi plane, upon the earth plane. Then he gives the third option, or in hell. So he's giving these options to God very humbly. He's saying, let me reside in any of these places. Now, of course, from a cosmological perspective, what's the significance of this? That we see this tripartite structure of the cosmos among all the ancients. You see, again, a lot of people with, to quote Prabhupada, a small fund of knowledge. They have this idea that this tripartite structure pertains only to Christianity or maybe only the Abrahamic religions. No, they actually copied it from something infinitely more ancient. So in Sanatana Dharma, in Buddhism, among all of the ancients, I can give a full list of all the various religions and peoples that were pre-Abrahamic. Everyone understood, not believed in, no, they understood this tripartite structure of the universe, that there is the heavenly realm where, quote unquote, the gods reside. And these gods we are meant to cooperate with in close cooperation. These are beneficent beings, beautiful beings, good beings, etc. And we are to cooperate with them, to live our lives in such a way that indeed we please the devas. But also they bestow their blessings upon us. They protect us when they can. Indeed, again, getting back to that movie, the Narasingha movie, it shows that they try. Oh, they try. Truly, again, when you see this movie, it's astounding. And, of course, I've known this for decades and lifetimes. But, oh my Lord, they have literally flying battleships, the likes of which you can't, again, conceive, made of gold and precious metals beyond gold that don't even exist upon the earth plane, etc. They try to protect us. Sometimes they succeed, sometimes not, but they do love us, and we are to love them. So there is the heavenly realm on the one hand. Then there is, to quote Tolkien, there is Middle Earth. There is the earthly realm, what he calls here the realm of human beings. And of course, again, for most people, they think that that means only quite literally this planet. No, it is a loka. Loka means both planet, but also means realm, region. If you know Sanskrita, you know the multiple meanings of that word, among other words. So indeed, the earthly region or realm within our universe, within our specific cosmos, is comprised of many planets. There are many planets with humans, human-like beings, some of whom are pretty much like us, some less advanced, a few much more advanced than we are upon this earthly plane, but they're humans. They're manusha, humans. So there's heavenly realm, Middle Earth, this earthly realm, and then there is Patala. There is the hellish realm, that both geographically, but ontologically, but also qualitatively is below everything else, where it's a realm of suffering. In fact, you can't even say a realm. It's actually several planetary systems, where the further down you go, it gets worse and worse. Now, with that understanding, what is Kulashekhara saying here? He's saying, my Lord, whatever is your will, if you will for me to be among the gods, among the devas in the heavens, if you will for me to be here, to just be here where I am presently, if you will for me to even be in these hellish realms where conditions are very bad, conditions are very, very bad, whatever is your will for me, let me reside in these places. And then how's the end of the sentence? As you please. As you please. Those are the three most important words in this sentence. As you please. Everything else is just interesting, but these are the three most important words, and that is the point of what he is saying. Wherever you wish for me to reside, a place that is full of pleasure, full of pain, or just kind of in between, whatever is your pleasure is my pleasure. This was a way of thinking that for not everyone, because this is a realm of illusion, but for many more people than today, this attitude was the norm in the past, even up until a few hundred years ago, actually. That the idea was, you are here to please God. We are all here to please God. You're married, you're a husband, you're here to please your wife. You're a wife, you're here to please your husband. Your children are here to please you as parents. The parents, you better please your children. You better play with them. You better make them smile and laugh and giggle and be happy and healthy. We are here to please each other. We are here to love each other. That was the understanding up until modernity, up until rather recently. Well, in this case, of course, he's speaking very specifically about God. About God. Who do we please? Who do we please? Do we please a rock? No. Do we please electricity as it's coming out of our outlet, an energy? No. Who do we please? One who is capable of being pleased, one who is capable of pleasure. What does that mean? A personality. So thus, saying it, without saying it, Kulashekhara is making it very clear that he's speaking about, again, the supreme personality of Godhead, God in radically personal form, which is ontologically, philosophically, logically itself, and in every other way vastly superior to any impersonal understanding of God. Period. 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 So this is the whole point. My Lord, wherever I am either destined to go or you wish for me to go, if it pleases you for me to be in one location versus another, one condition versus another, if it pleases you, I ask, please, that you allow me to please you by being there. What is that? That's surrender. That's surrender at the feet of God. What is surrender? It means having faith. It means having trust. It means having loyalty. It means having fidelity to God. Now let's go on. And he goes on. I pray only that at the point of death I remember, and let's stop there. And obviously, to fill in the blank, we know he's going to speak about God. Let's talk about that, just that little clause. I pray only, so first of all, he is saying, this is my only prayer. In other words, please give me this. And also on the side, a little wealth would be nice, and a little this. No. I pray only that at the point of death, and again, let's stop there. What is he saying? He's praying to Krishna what Krishna himself told Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, but that's found everywhere else, all throughout the scriptures. And that is what it is that you have awareness of at the point of death. In other words, at that point in your life where existentially all that you know, every little egotistical concern has come to an end. At that point, when you are starkly faced with true reality, every little castle you thought you built upon this world is now, to your full knowledge, gone. What will you be aware of? What will you be aware of? And Krishna makes it very clear. One who is aware of me at the time of death comes unto me. Well, this is what now Kulashekhara, in repeating this line to Krishna, is saying. Please, I pray only that at the point of death, what? I may remember, I may be aware of, and again, your 2 lotus feet. You see, to even say in the mind of a devotee like this, of this stature, imagine this. To even say, I ask please that at the point of death you please allow me to remember you. That's too arrogant for him. It's amazing. That's too arrogant. That's too pretentious. Rather, he doesn't even ask for that. Oh God, let me remember you. He's thinking to himself, who am I to even remember you? No. I want to remember you, but I'm not even worthy of remembering, quote unquote, you fully. Let me at least remember that lowest part of you, your 2 lotus feet. So amazing. And then he gives a qualifier. Not just any feet, but the feet of God, which is not the feet of a human being, the feet of God, whose beauty defies that of the lotus growing in the Śarat season. The Śarat season, that's a Sanskrit word, that means basically autumn. Basically autumn. It's, I believe, and I could be wrong, mid-September to mid-November, something like that, in the Vedic calendar. So basically autumn. In the autumn season is considered aesthetically in Vedic literature to be a very beautiful time of the year. It's a very beautiful time of the year, and the lotus looks its most beautiful around that time. So again, all of this has significance. Not only does he say your 2 beautiful lotus feet, whose beauty defies, in other words, is beyond that of the lotus, but the lotus at its height, growing during the Śarat season. So truly, the qualifiers here, qualifiers among qualifiers among qualifiers, making these thoughts deeper and deeper and deeper. This would be almost insulting to say, what a brilliant man. Was he brilliant in how he composed this prayer? Oh, sure, but that's almost insulting. What a man of true faith and true devotion. Now we're doing justice to Kulashekhara by saying this. what a man of true devotion, that this would come to him, that this writing would come. Let me say this, and I'm going to end by saying this. When it comes to a true devotee who writes, whether it's a rishi, whether it's a guru, whether it's an alvar, whether it's an acharya, whether it's, again, any bhakta, when they write something like this, do they use the intellect? Yes. Oh, they do. They use everything. They use their intellect. They use their body, for that matter. Back then, you could imagine they would impress a stick into leaves, and that's how they wrote. Today, you use your fingers and you type. You use everything. But from whence do such moods arise? Not from here, from the heart region. So truly astounding, truly amazing. And you can see that that is the case with Kulashekhara. So with that, again, I thank you all for listening to my discourse portion of what we are doing today. We will stop here. And indeed, I'm going to surprise everyone. We'll see if next week when we get together, we'll be doing verse 7. We'll see, maybe verse 7 and 8, we'll get through maybe 2. Or whether we'll go on to something else, and we have an infinite ocean of Vedic literature and verses to go through. Just yesterday alone, actually, almost every day, I actually do quote-unquote research, is what normative individual would call it. But I read through the Vedic scriptures in one way or another almost every day. And even yesterday, I discovered some very interesting things that at some point I want to give a talk on. We'll see if that's going to be next week or the week after or in several months. We'll see if we continue with the Mukunda Mala Stotra. But with that, I thank you all very much for listening to my talk. And indeed, if there are now any questions about either what we discussed today, about Sanatana Dharma in general, please feel free. Either the people here, the people online, of whom I can see we have people all throughout the world. But now is the time to ask your questions. And this is part of the didactic process, is that even asking questions is an art. If you want to ask questions of a true guru or acharya, rishi, anyone like this, a sage, be careful what you ask and how you ask. Because if you have sincerity, the guru will know. If you ask without sincerity, the guru will know. And only ask a question if you are sincere and if your goal is to surrender your existence to God, because that's what it's all about. Not academic questions. Not can you tell us what so and so historic figure thought? No. Ask questions that will save your life. Very good. Oh, very good. And let me just check, make sure there weren't any questions beforehand. There shouldn't be, because we tend to tell people, wait until I ask people for questions. If you start asking questions as I'm speaking, I won't see your question at all. So I don't see any questions previously, so that's good. Let's see. Maybe Danvantari, because you're close, could you get me a copy, please, of Taking Refuge in Dharma? And this is the question. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The question is, Namaste Acharyaji, my humblest obeisances as always, and Happy New Year. The same to you, Happy New Year. In the Vedas, it isn't hard to find the qualifications for a true guru. Where can we find how to be a true student? Very good. And then signed Garrett. Very good. Well, let me tell you, there are verses all throughout the Vedic scriptures, and I have those verses, but I also discuss that in Taking Refuge in Dharma. In fact, yes, indeed, I am one of the few people who actually speaks about this and very consciously so. I'm aware that not so much in the Vedic scriptures, because again, there are many verses that talk about this, but among people in general today, indeed, you can find on YouTube, here, there, everywhere, you can find lots of content of people talking about what is a true guru, what is a true guru. Some of it is based on reality, some of it is made up. But to find what is a true student, a true disciple, is difficult to find. I've said this myself. And why is this the case? Well, of course, it's a psychological thing. People don't want to see themselves reflected in the information about what is a bad student. They don't want to see this. So therefore, people tend to not talk about this a lot. But the information is indeed there. There are qualifiers throughout the Vedic scriptures. And again, just go here to this book, Taking Refuge in Dharma, and you'll see the actual verses, but also me commenting on what it means to be a true disciple, a true student. And the reason why this is of importance is this. Of course, today, people are, and they should be, always on the lookout for fake gurus. I'm the number one person who tells people in exacerbating detail what is a false guru. What are the criteria? And you can't just make them up. It can't just be that, the guru said something that personally offended you. No. The guru said something that was a little too challenging for you. No. There are criteria for which that's a fake guru. And they're strict. And they're in the Vedic scriptures. And indeed, I quote them here as well. So indeed, there's all of that information. But truthfully, if a person is sincere and they claim that, yes, I want to approach a guru, I want to be someone who is a true disciple of a guru, what does that look like for me? Well, indeed, what does it look like? And let me just talk about this a little bit without going into detail, because again, I go into exacerbating detail in here. Several things. First of all, of course, I'll give a list. You must be sincere, you must be loyal, you must be trustworthy, you must be faithful, you must be disciplined, you must be someone who is intelligent. Let's stop there for a moment. Sincerity is important. Sincerity without intelligence leads to fanaticism, stupidity, and a lot of mistakes, even on the spiritual path. You see, meet any crazy religious fanatic, you'll be meeting someone quote-unquote sincere. But that's also someone without intelligence. So a disciple must be intelligent. And I can go on and on with this long list. But indeed, another thing that's of great importance is that the individual who wishes to be a student, a true student of a true guru, has to have the ability to look within and ask about his own motivations. Why do I claim that I want to be a student of this guru? And this is true historically. So even famous gurus, some rishi, for example, of 10,000 years ago, and a person wants to become a student of such and such rishi, they need to ask themselves, why? Do I want to do this because, this is a famous rishi and I think I'll get some status by taking initiation from this person? Or fill in the blank, all sorts of self-motivated desires. Or is it the opposite? That I wish to surrender to this guru, learn from this guru, etc., so that I can learn to give, so I can learn to do seva, to do service, etc. So you have to look at your own motivations. And again, I can go much deeper, but the book goes infinitely deeper than I can in a short live stream. But thank you for that question very much. And let me see if there are any other questions here. Give me a moment. Good. This is a very good question, actually. And it is, Namaste, Sri Guru. In humans, out of mind, body, spirit, are they equal or is one more important? Thank you. Very good. And I understand the nature of your question. So basically, when we're talking, what you're asking, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe what you're asking is on the level of pure consciousness, of pure Atman. That is the Atman divorced from body, from mind, from any even subtle material aspects, etc. when you now look at all Atmans, are they all equal, or is there some sort of inequality that is there? So that is the question that you're asking, and the answer is yes. On the one hand, all Atmans are equal in that substantially they are all the same in essence. They are all comprised of consciousness. They all have God as their source, as their origin, etc. So in many different ways, the various Atmans are indeed equal. On the other hand, as Atmans are looked at individually and comparatively, they are not the same. And what does that mean? What that means is that, oh, indeed, there is difference between them. So we cannot talk about equality when it comes to the quality of one individual Atman versus another, versus another, versus another. There is indeed difference that is there, and the difference, by definition, equates to hierarchy. Let me state that again. Difference itself equates to hierarchy. This is Dharma. This is the way of nature itself, and anyone who tries to deny this is denying nature. If you have two different things, they're not the exact same thing, they're two different things, there is going to be hierarchy. In one way or another, this one is superior to that one. In other ways, this one is superior to that one. And the number of superiorities that they have also is not equal. It's not that this one has 10 things superior to this one has 10 things superior to that one. Even the numbers will not be even. So there will be hierarchy, regardless of anything, as long as there is difference. As long as there is difference. And difference, along with sameness, are always there, materially and spiritually. So I hope that answers the question. Let me see if there are any other questions here. First of all, I don't want to neglect our congregation. Are there any questions here from anyone? Anything anyone would like to ask at all? Questions, comments, anything? If not, then we'll go back to our online questions. Namaste, dearest Acharyaji. Why does Krishna show us the rest of his body when we theoretically should be focusing on his lotus feet? Because that is his grace. Because he is merciful to us. And because he is not just a pair of disembodied feet. Krishna is quote unquote a being. He is a full being. Krishna, Narayana, of course, is everything. Krishna has a face, has a head, has arms, has hands, has a torso, has legs, has feet, etc., etc. But Krishna, in and of himself, being fully possessed of form, still, as we approach Krishna, and especially initially, we focus on his feet due to humility. So it's a perspectival difference. For Krishna, Krishna is a full person. But when we focus on Krishna, and again, especially initially, we focus on his feet. Now let me expand on those two words, especially initially. And that means when we first approach Krishna, whether that is the first time in our life, in our existence, that literally we are having a divine revelation of Krishna himself, or when we approach the Murti, or in any given circumstance, at first we focus on Krishna's feet. But then the idea is not that we stay there for all of eternity. We do eventually come to see the totality of Krishna. This is true, again, whether speaking about the Murti or about quite literally encountering Krishna himself. So it's a matter of etiquette, it's a matter of showing humility, it's a matter of also meditational technique. It's an actual sadhana technique that when focusing upon the divine form, the rupa of Krishna, we begin with the lower and we go up. This is an actual sadhana technique as well. But eventually, we do indeed come to know Krishna himself as a whole. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you for that very, very good question. Very good. Here is a very, very pertinent question, actually. Sri Guru, I was raised in a Christian home since I was young and have a comfort with the image of Jesus. Although I am now a dharmi, may I continue to pray to Jesus? This is a very, very nice question. And indeed, much of our audience is throughout the world. We have massive audience throughout the totality of South Asia, Southeast Asia, etc. But much of our audience is indeed in the Western world. That means North America, South America, that means the totality of Europe, every single nation in Europe, etc. So of course we have many individuals who also were raised in Christian denominations of one form or another. So indeed, this is where they are coming from. So it's very, very understandable that someone would ask a question like this. And now that such individuals are practicing Sanatana Dharma, they may still have an affection for the person of Jesus. And let me tell you in a very clear way, of course, we accept that Jesus was not God. We are not Christians. Let me make that clear in the denominational sense of that term. Rather, we accept that Jesus was a great guru, that he was what we call a Dharma master, and he was a great guru. That being the case, if you still find tremendous appeal in, as you say, continuing to pray to Jesus, etc., there is nothing wrong with that, as long as you do it with the proper understanding. And that is, when I say proper understanding, I mean both theological but also mood-wise as well. Theologically, it's important to understand that, again, Jesus was a guru. So in the same way that you would pray to the gurus of a parampara, great gurus of the past, you would have reverence and veneration for the Alvars, for the great rishis, etc., for someone like Vyasadeva, so many different individuals, but you know they're not God. You know that, no, this is someone very close to God. So, oh yes, I will offer my obeisances to such a great guru. This is the way in which theologically we are to understand who Jesus is. So indeed, if you want to continue to have reverence for Jesus with that understanding, that is perfectly fine. And now mood-wise. The idea is to replicate the life of Jesus in your own life. See, I've talked about this many, many times. When people ask me about Christian topics, I'll say, oh, this is what is the unfortunate thing, is that many Christians will, in a very almost superstitious sort of way, pray to Jesus, almost pray at Jesus. There'll be a crucifix or a statue of Jesus, and they'll pray to Jesus, but that's all they'll do, without understanding that what it means actually to understand who this personage was would be to follow in his footsteps. That's harder. To just look at a statue or a crucifix or something and just pray, even sincerely, or pray for things, etc., that's very surface level. Rather, someone who is truly a follower of Jesus, not a Christian, but a true follower of Jesus, even if they are a follower of Sanatana Dharma, is you follow in his footsteps. What does that mean? That means how he lived, you live. How he thought, you think. Everything that he did, you try to replicate in your own life. This was a person who was 100% surrendered at the feet of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Pause, let that sink in, and let me say it again to make it sink in even more. Who is Jesus? He is someone who was 100% surrendered at the lotus feet, not of Yahweh, but of Krishna. This being the case, let us try to be like that too. Let us look at his example, and let us follow that example in our own life with action. And then we are understanding who this person was. So I hope that answers the question. In other words, just to make it very simple, yes, please, you can continue to pray to Jesus, but with the understanding that we've just given you from the perspective of Sanatana Dharma. And let me just check the time. Oh, we'll take maybe just a few more questions. And I don't know if we'll be able to take them all because we're already past the hour, but let me just see if I can answer a few more questions. Namaste Acharyaji, I am currently struggling with material pleasures even if I know it's wrong. I have even thought about praying to Krishna for material pleasures, but I am too ashamed to do so. Indeed, of course, I would have to know a little bit more about your situation and what you mean by material pleasures, because I've said this many times. To derive some wholesome pleasure from the world around us, good people have done this throughout the totality of Sanatana Dharma, stretching back millions of years. There's nothing wrong with taking pleasure in the world around us in a very wholesome, sattvic sort of way. But if what you mean is engaging in vice, for example, or engaging in pleasures in a very selfish, materialistic, almost harmful sort of way, then yes, that's not something good. That is something that you are to avoid. And let me just say this. You end this by saying, but I am too ashamed. I am too ashamed to do so. Shame is something that is a normal human emotion. You do something wrong, you should feel a little bit of shame. However, you should not continue to just exist in shame. Rather, all right, now feeling that little bit of shame, use that as even more fuel to now do the right thing. And this is the important thing, is to do the right thing. So, indeed, what is that? Again, I can't answer your question necessarily perfectly because I don't know what you're referring to here in this very personal sort of way as far as material pleasures. But let me just say generally, what you are now to do is indeed, if these are selfish pleasures where you're almost harming yourself, you're benefiting no one, etc., and they're just hedonistic sorts of things involving whatever, either sexuality or alcohol, drugs, anything like this, you are indeed to transcend these completely as much as is possible. Now, those are easy words to say. Over the course of teaching for 38 years, I've tried to help many, many people who have had addictions and things like this. It can be done, but it requires time, effort, and sincerity on your part. You have to truly desire to transcend any sort of vices that you may have. And the way that you do this is indeed not just focusing on ridding yourself of the vices. Just pick an example. I'm addicted to alcohol. I have to not drink alcohol. I have to not drink alcohol. And you're just focusing on the negative. No, the pleasure that you derive from these material things, and again, if they are vices, has to be replaced by transcendental pleasure. It's not enough just to say no to the bad things. You have to say yes to the good things. So in this way, you reorient your taste. Instead of to lower things that are meaningless, reorient your taste in such a way that now you have a taste for the higher things. What does that mean? Everything spiritual. That means first living a healthy, good life, a sattvic life in every way, such that inwardly you're growing, becoming better, becoming healthier, etc., etc. It means spiritually speaking. It means listen to the most spiritual music that you can, to kirtan, to bhajans, even just, again, sattvic music, something like Bach, something like Wagner, etc. Just music that elevates you. In every way, you need to reorient yourself so that everything you're doing is elevating you, making you healthier, making you more spiritual. And in that way, having now this pure, blissful taste of the transcendent, giving up these lower things becomes easier. But this is what you are to do. And the next time you pray to Krishna, and going forward from here on when you pray to Krishna that he will give you this divine taste, such that the material pleasures will seem like nothing in comparison. So I hope that was helpful for you. Very good. Very good. Let me see. Give me one moment to fully read this question and see if it's something I even should answer. Just give me a moment, please. I see. Okay. I see. Very good. All right. Yes, this is a good question, actually, and I will answer this. And it's a multi-part. This will be the last question that we'll do for today just because of time. We don't want to go too much overtime. And it is Namaste, Namaste Acharyaji. Happy New Year, and the same to you. Happy New Year to you as well. A question which someone else asked in the Discord channel this week which was referred by others to be asked to you regarding quote unquote Satan. In the Abrahamic religions, he is an individual personality. It was asked if, according to Vedic understanding, if there is any such personality and if he creates an evil environment and happenings. And then you have qualifier. This was asked in the context of whether a certain personality outside of ourselves always, and I think you mean to say always instigates us to do evil, or if this is a scapegoat for bad choices. Very good. All right, this is actually a good philosophical question. Let me say several things. First of all, we are not Abrahamists, and there's no way around this. There is no compromise on this. We are not, we never have been, we never shall be Abrahamists. That being the case, we don't believe in this artificial dualism that started first with Zoroastrianism and then Judaism and now all of what is called Abrahamism and the Abrahamic context. And that is this idea that there is a good God and there is an evil God, and they're at war with each other. And the reason why we do evil is because there's some little satanic being on our shoulder whispering to us, instigating us to do evil, etc. And more, that all evil that we can encounter, that means all suffering, all evil choices, decisions, etc., anything that is negative is all attributed to one personality. We don't believe in any of that. That is Abrahamism. We don't believe in Satan. We don't believe in Lucifer, and I don't care if he's a separate being. I don't care if he's the morning star. We don't believe in these beings. We don't believe that there's one being who is the source of all evil, etc. So we don't accept any of this. Rather, what you say here is correct in the very end, and that is, this is just a scapegoat for bad choices. Indeed. Now, all that being said, indeed, the nuanced complexity of Sanatana Dharma is beyond the understanding of 99.9% of humans. The gods, they have a firmer grasp of what is Sanatana Dharma. Is this to say that there are not evil beings within our universe who are truly evil, almost evil personified, and that some of them do indeed endeavor to influence us? Of course there are such beings. Again, what I said previously about how, we also believe in hell. We believe in demons as well as gods. And this is true for all of the ancients, without exception. This also carried over into the Abrahamic religions, but they stole it from us. They borrowed this from the more ancient religions. So indeed, there are many demonic beings, not one. There's not one grand demonic being called Satan or whatever you want to say. There are many demonic beings. They hate us. They are malevolent. They're evil beings. Some of them are so bad they derive pleasure in making people suffer. Would they like to influence us? Yes. Not all of them, but many do. Do they try to influence us? Yes. Are some human beings indeed directly influenced by demonic beings right now? You better believe it. But this is different from, again, the Abrahamic concept of Satan. And more, with any human being, regardless of whatever outside being is trying to influence you, you always have choice. Sanatana Dharma is a religion that is predicated upon the concept of free will, without which anything that comes after that is meaningless. Without free will, ethics is meaningless. Philosophy is meaningless. Your opinion versus my opinion is meaningless. What you do, what you don't do is meaningless without free will. So we believe in free will. We believe that ultimately choice is everything. And some human beings, being an illusion, will choose to do bad. Some will choose to do good. Some are kind of mixed. Most are kind of mixed. They'll do good things, bad things, whatever they have to do to justify what they're doing, etc. And it all revolves around choice. So indeed, we do not believe in Satan in the Abrahamic idea whatsoever. That is purely Abrahamic. We reject it. Satan does not exist. So I hope that answers the question. Very good. So with that, indeed, we're going to stop here. I just have to say this because it's funny. Someone has the last comment here. To quote Flip Wilson, the devil made me do it. No one, just for fun. And that includes everyone. Does anybody know who Flip Wilson is? We're getting nothing but no's. Do you know who Flip Wilson is? I am the only person in this room who knows who Flip Wilson is. He was a comedian in the late 60s, very early 70s. He was both a stand-up comedian, but he had a show called The Flip Wilson Show. And he was known for some very, very good one-liners. He was a very funny guy, actually. He's passed away a very long time ago at this point. But yes, indeed, whoever this person is making this comment, I'm very glad that you also know who Flip Wilson was. He was a good comedian, actually. But he would say this line, he would do something stupid, and then he would say, the devil made me do it. That's something he was known for. So yeah, very funny. So with that, again, we will indeed stop here. And I thank you all, everyone, for being here, both our congregation. And this is just a little insider. I like to, for people who watch us all the time from throughout the world and they've never been here and they can't necessarily come here too easily. People don't know this, but when the live stream on satsangha is over, the people who come, do you just run home immediately? No. When you stop seeing us live, that's when we all associate with each other and talk and chat, and we'll maybe have snacks, we'll have tea, we'll have very nice things. And it's truly a wonderful thing. So indeed, we're going to be doing that after this is over. But for those who can't join us in that immediately, maybe in the future, if you move here to the Vedic Heartland, you could be part of our beautiful community here. But for those of you who can't, let me just say several things. First of all, indeed, we have a website that we have had, indeed, since 1998. It's a very old website called dharmacentral.com. Please visit our website when you can. And we have many of our books, well, all of our books now available. We have this, Taking Refuge in Dharma. We have a brand new book that just came out, Be Strong, which we've been talking about. This is truly a wonderful book. I've had nothing but good feedback on this book thus far. It's a book on exactly how to be strong in every way. You find yourself lacking in some way and you want to be strong or stronger, and on every level, including, physically. I have pointers here about what to do to be strong physically, how to be strong emotionally, how to be strong on every level, morally, spiritually, intellectually, psychologically, etc. That's what this book talks about, both philosophically but practically as well. And all of our other books, they're all available on dharmacentral.com. Also, if you are not on our email list, please feel free to join our email list. And indeed, you will start to receive just wonderful information, more information about Sanatana Dharma, about the ISDS via email. So feel free to join our email list. Also, when you are there, if you find it within your heart to do so, please feel free to donate to the International Sanatana Dharma Society. You'll see on the menu, there's a drop-down menu, and you can give a one-time donation. You can become a monthly tithing member of the International Sanatana Dharma Society, where you become an actual member of the ISDS, and you agree to just donate something per month. It could be $5, $50, anything, 10, 20, 100, etc. The other things I wanted to say are this: we have a Discord server. I saw that the link is actually here for joining that. Please feel free to join our Discord server. And the Discord server is indeed a community of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of devotees of the International Sanatana Dharma Society, where there is sincere discussion that takes place. There is fellowship, association. There are live discussion groups that take place all the time. If anything, we are going to be having more of those, actually. I appear on there once a week, actually, but only for our select members who are there on the Discord server. So become a select member. do what you need to become a select member. What that means is you act sincerely, and etc. There's conversation that happens 24/7. We have people from multiple dozens of nations on our Discord server. Please feel free to join that. The other thing is, indeed, if you have not subscribed, please feel free to subscribe to this channel, to the Dharma Nation channel. It is a unique channel unlike any other anywhere. Please like this video. People sometimes forget to like the video. It's actually important that people do that, because this is simply the way that social media works. The more likes that we get, then the more our videos are suggested to others. In fact, please do so now if you don't mind. It takes literally about 1 second. Just hit like. And then when the video is available as a recording, please feel free to leave comments as well. That's also something that's very helpful to us. And if we see that there's a sincere question, we'll do our best to answer that sincere question as well. So with that, let me sandwich what we've done today by just reiterating what I said at the beginning, now at the end. Please listen to these words very carefully, and if you're skeptical about this, well, that's all right. You'll just be on the sidelines as this happens anyway. 2026 is going to be wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful in every way. Perfect? No. Oh, no bad things will happen? Oh, no. No, actually, I've said this for multiple years. That, oh no, bad things will still happen. There'll still be some crazy things, actually quite a few crazy things. But overall, 2026 is going to be a year that will be so truly wondrous that for those of you out there who are still black-pilled and refuse to believe, despite all the evidence in your face, that we are going to be very soon in the golden age. For those of you who are skeptical about this, by the end of this year, you no longer will be. And if you are, then you're not skeptical, you're just lying to yourself and others. This is going to be a beautiful, healing year in so many ways. And we look forward to seeing this year with you and being with you as this year proceeds and only gets better and better. And again, what we see this year, even toward the end of this year, the wonders we have seen in 2026, by the time it reaches December 31st, are only a taste of what is actually to come. So please join us as we usher in the golden age. And with that, everyone, all of us together, Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Bhagavan Sri Krishna.
Jaya Bhagavan Sri Krishna.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
May Dharma be victorious. Evam Bhavatu. May it be so. And so it shall be. And with that, everyone, again, thank you for being here. Join us again next week. And as I have been, and I will continue probably at least until the end of indeed 2026, maybe 1 or 2 months after that, I leave you with these words of Bhagavan Sri Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 66, the Charama Shloka, in which he says to Arjuna and to each one of us, in the beautiful ancient Sanskrita, Ma Shuchaha. Do not fear. anything, or anyone at all. Now, everyone, go out there and do good. Namaste.